block. Y'all already know what it is. Your boy Yaakov, what it do? The outlet to reality, the holdest podcast in Vegas and Chicago. What up? This is the place where you want to hide from your drama or maybe hide from your baby mama. Just kidding. But anyways, fans, thank you for staying tuned. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Ching! And today we have a very, very special guest. I had to bring back my brother. Give it up for the best radio host in Chicago from 88.3 FM, the Wizard, Eddie Shafer. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's good, my brother? D. Montalvo. Oh, so now I'm getting like Facebook little direct messages are coming through. So hopefully, maybe that's recording. I don't know. Hopefully not.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good, brother.
Okay,
Don't worry. So real quick, I want to share a quick story because you gave me some inspirations, and I think a lot of people could relate to this.
Okay.
So I feel like something to start off. Have you ever been caught masturbated or probably got caught watching porn at a very young age? So I'm gonna share you guys a quick story that happened to me. I let him borrow my computer, and I told him I'm just gonna go to the store. And I had my first time getting a MacBook Pro, and I was like, because I trust you. You say you gotta do homework and stuff, right? And I go and get some Kit Kat bar, with a patty waggy. So I come back and I open my screen. So many pages open at the same time, and all I heard was, and I was like, "Oh heck no!" Now my cousin was about 10 years old, I think maybe 11, and I was like, "Yo, cuz," and the volume was up. My mom heard it; she thought I was watching it. She's like, "Oh my gosh, Miko, what you watching? This is bad." And I said, "Mom, it wasn't me. My cousin's the one that watched it. I let him to watch I told him he could use my computer, but to do homework, I didn't tell him to look up this stuff." And then I said, "Yo, cuz, what were you looking up that had to be this page?" He's like, "Look, man, I'm gonna be honest. I was investigating about cats. So the first thing that popped up when I typed in pussy cat, it came out that page." And I'm like, "Come on, bro. That definitely ain't the answer, brother. I know you smarter than that." No, for real. I didn't mean to. It just popped up. So, anyways, that was a crazy story that happened, but something that happened to me one time. I actually, for the first time, I remember it was yesterday. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm happy to admit it. When I was in 6th grade, one of my older cousins, he was like about 15 years older than me. He actually taught me about what is porn, sex, and what is masturbation, because I ain't know what that was. And as a young kid,
priest involved.
nah, they don't need. Yeah, you good.
Get going so you can get to me. Okay.
I got you. And when one day I came home, I was pretty excited. I'm like, man, I learned a new invention. Pretty much that's how I felt. I go into my room, pull out the computer, and I went www. Boom, 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 pop, 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 you know what I'm saying? And all I saw was I was like, man, where's the lotion? You know what I'm saying? I got excited. But I forgot I unlocked the door. I had the door unlocked. My mom comes in, and I'm not even paying attention. I'm zoned out. I'm in a different planet. I have my headphones on. My mom comes in. She's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, snap, I got caught." My cousin came in. She was at the time, she was probably 17. I was probably, like I said, 6th grade. I don't know how old you're supposed to be. She came in. My mom came. She said, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing? You're too young. Like, who taught you?" And as a brother, I was screwed. To be honest with you, I had nowhere to hide. I was just like, oh man. Well, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I told them I had needs and I had a release, but that ain't no excuse. At that time, I was probably grounded. Probably, it was a scary time. Never seen my mom got so mad. It was crazy. I survived. But anyways, brother, I want to hear your side of the story. If you had any stories.
Well, I mean, one day I was checking myself under my legs. I was on my bed, and I had my legs over my head, but I was in my underwear, and I had no privacy. So my mom was like, "What are you doing?" Male preferential. How's that?
Better. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
So I thought, okay. So I thought, yeah, that was one weird instance. And then we were all watching. Wait, so I was just into buying VHS tapes at that point and renting them. And then like my mom had a beauty shop, and it was like I'm chilling in summer, chilling at home during the summer. And she'd go off, and I'd start playing it. I'm like, I'm gonna start watch that to entertain myself. That was like the start of the addiction. And then I had some jams outside my kitchen because you can hear everything through the alley. Sorry. And I would like turn it on and off, and then I'd rewind the parts or fast forward, and she'd keep coming in to check. And I'm just like, she never busted me. She never directly told me, like, are you seriously watching porn in the house with me in the house right now? And I was just like, I didn't give a shit after a while. And I don't know. There was so many moments like that, David. It's embarrassing to even say. It's like playing with dolls all the way up into high school. Like WWE wrestling. I was a late bloomer, just total embarrassment. Like my parents didn't really instill any need to like rebel. I was just like I just wanted to comply as a kid. And I think I probably channeled a lot of frustration sexually into pornography early on, from like VHS to live stream to peeing stream, honestly. But that's where I'm at. That was a big, disjumbled kind of like, I kind of gave you a montage of my early pornographic life.
I see that.
Stemming from mom thinking that I was, into males early on. Which no problem there. No problem with any of it. Open-minded guy. Okay.
Right.
All right. Let's start this interview.
All right, brother. So real quick, man, that's a very interesting story. It's crazy, man. I mean, I guess, you know what I'm saying? We got a lot of diversity in Vegas, but look, real quick, guys, for those who don't know, this is Eddie Shafer from 88.3 FM, one of my favorite guys to watch. He has one of the best shows. He's been doing it for a very long time. And right now, I heard that you are doing comedy, brother.
Yeah. So Live Wire Lounge, which is the name of the place that I'm going to perform next month. So they just adhered to the guidelines in Illinois for COVID regulations, right? Yeah. He played it safe, but they started doing slower, and then soft openings. And now they're at full capacity. And I thought it was only going to be like a limited capacity, but now I've been told, it's going to be 100% capacity. Saturday, July 17th, I'm going to do a 20-minute set opening up for a rock show. As long as you got vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. So I'm just like, this is the best case scenario. And before that, the show got postponed. And then finally, I was like, well, how do I get involved, with the comedy scene in Chicago?
Yeah.
And I talked to a friend who was in that scene, and she gave me all these links, like Facebook links so you can get on, you can get on comedy pages of like who's doing stand up and who the comedians are, basically. And I got accepted to all these things. And then I discovered suddenly, like a couple months ago, all the suburb places started opening up first. When we really first started opening up, and all these comedy clubs started popping off. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going for it. I'm like, I don't give a shit how far I have to drive. So the first open mic I did, they put this woman on who does karaoke. They just let her do a karaoke song of Adele. I'm like, what's this bullshit? And I'm in the bathroom. I'm thinking, okay, I'll go ahead and do what I got to do. You know what I mean? And like, I figured I'm going to get this person back. So I get out of the bathroom and I go, man, that person was amazing. Really great voice. I was so relaxed by the time you're singing. I was in the bathroom. I had time to pull one off. I'm ready to do some comedy.
Yeah.
Dead silent. And then I do another racy joke, and it's like I just smacked them in the face. Like I did a couple of things that made people laugh, and then it was just like a downward spiral. So again, I bombed at this club. Like I ate poop a few times at this place, and then afterward, I'm like, I went up to a couple of comedians. I'm like, what? And they would go up and just talk. They would be silly and act theatrical, like no real jokes. And the sillier people were, the more people were just like lifted up out of their chairs, like in a Pentecostal church, like, ah! I'm like, what? I'm like, so you just have to be a clown and run around the room and people are going to dig it? Like, what is this? But I soon learned after I talked to a couple of the comedians, they were like, yeah, man, you just can't talk about jerking off right away. Like, they don't know you like that yet. I'm like, I'm like, there's rules to this. Yeah. There's rules to this.
I mean, real quick, I'm gonna be honest. It's like kind of like you have to build up, right? In comedy, you can't give your best punchline, like especially like even like a fart joke, right? You don't want to use a fart joke right away because people kind of know how it is, and it's like a hit or miss.
Yeah,
you know, there's just different strategies. But I agree with your friend, the comedian guy, that you gotta. Yeah. It's all about timing and building up. You know what I'm saying?
And I wouldn't know that unless I went in. I mean, I'm going in blind. I'm just taking whatever's coming to me, you know. And then I learned, but like the guy that they had up there, Muhammad, who was a headliner. So I talked to this guy, Muhammad, and then this up and comer named Mo Good, this female who was just fantastic, young woman, not female, young woman. And she was like, "You nasty, aren't you?" I'm like, "I'm just a wild person. I didn't know there was rules."
She said you nasty. You say you nasty.
It's nasty. And then right away she goes, "Well, I do an open mic. I host an open mic Wednesdays on the West Side. You don't mind coming?" I go, "I'll drive anywhere. I don't care what nasty side of town it is. Yeah. I have no reservations about that. I can handle myself, you know, in the neighborhood and just, you know, I keep my head up, look people in the eye. Like I'm not intimidated about that. You know, I just know how to move about, I think."
Yeah.
And so that was cool, right? And then a couple other people were like trying to give me advice. They were cool folks. And so this brother Muhammad, he looks right at me, goes, "I see what you're doing with your jokes. I see where you're going. Don't stop, bro. This is just the battleground to the big leagues. Don't stop, whatever you do." I'm like, I bombed and they're still supportive. Like, that's love.
Yeah.
So it was very inspiring to me. And so there was this Jewish gentleman that happened to be there. They were kind of like clapping extra for him. I'm like, oh, because he's white, what's going on here? But he was funny, really nice guy. He comes up to me, he goes, "Hey, you got good jokes." And I'm like, "Come on." He goes, "No, seriously, you're really good. Look, I'm hosting an open mic." So 2 people invited me to an open mic that night on my shittiest night.
Wow.
And I thought, so is this like the thing where you're a wrestler and you get paid even if you lose? You know, like lucha libre?
Right.
And I just thought that's incredible. Like, if this is the culture in the city on a local level, that's really supportive. And I notice a lot of people host open mics, and I think like that's the way to kind of get yourself into the industry a little bit better. Yeah. By having that control.
For sure.
But I think it's really, you know, like, come over to my crib. Like, I think it's maybe about the numbers. So, but it's another opportunity to prove it. Anyway, so the Jewish gentleman, he's like, "Come up." So it was like a Northwest, like Norwich, right? So I go and I'm thinking, I got a hot 5. And at this time, Dave, things are starting to pop off in my life a little better. I got promoted at the job that I'm at. I'm a social worker. I work with the mental health community. And I got a promotion. So this new gig is way more high stress. The clients are way more symptomatic. They're right out of the nursing home. I got a full caseload of people I'm taking care of that, you know, some have just more horrid personalities than others that are more compliant.
Right.
Plus, I got to discharge people. So I'm nervous now all the time, freaking out. And so I'm just trying to like shove all this stuff into a bag. So by the time I get to the Norwich one, I'm thinking this is going to be hot. I get up there, man. I get a couple of lines in a material. I blank. It all flushes out of my brain, and I didn't even like. I thought I got this.
Yeah.
I got this. You're in the flow. I've been going week after week after week. So I've been going 4 weeks straight because I figured if I'm going to prep for whenever this show is coming up, the 30-minute, I said I at least need to do 5 minutes a week of new material. Like write a new 5 every week, 5 week, boom, boom, boom. Then when it starts getting closer to the date, this is my game plan. Then I'll double it up, 2 a week. Then when it gets close to the show, 3 a week. And by the time I get there, I'll just like have a good flow going, not maybe complete memorization, but I'll have the main idea and I can articulate it and it'll flow. It'll be nice. I get there, bro, and I flake. I have a brain fart and I'm trying to recall stuff and like improvise. Yeah. And even the people that are comedians in the crowd couldn't look at me in the face because it was probably like too embarrassing.
Right.
So that's the hardest I bombed, just getting out of the gate. And I was so mad at myself, dude. And this is what all comedians will tell you that are famous. That you bomb so hard that you never want to do that again. And I got out of there and I'm like, man, that was horrible. I'm so sorry. I'd embarrassed myself. And he's like, no, man. Like, you'll get another opportunity. Like, come back again, whatever. And then these dudes that I met for the first time were like, hey, man, it happens. And this young kid, so they got a prize at the end of the thing.
Yeah.
Let me know if I'm going too long. And then this young kid gets up there and he's like good looking, fresh face. His flow is crisp. And so then the prize comes up. You put in a raffle ticket and you get like a $10 whatever koozie. I don't know.
Yeah. And
so I end up winning. And I'm like, nah. I get up there, I go, I want to give this to the young man who just went up and crushed. And everyone's just like, what? And I'm like, no, take it. I'm like, I'm on the mic in front of him. I'm like, dude, I ate shit. You deserve this. Take my prize. Wow. And I think I regained the respect of the crowd because people were in disbelief that I was so generous about that. Like I didn't deserve it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's crazy, fam.
So I gave the prize to him and right immediately after that, another dude was like, hey, I'm doing an open mic, killing it at the Kedzie. Come through.
Right.
And then this brother who went up and was like, hey, don't hold on to your script. Feel free to let loose and improvise. Like, don't be beholden to like a set script. Don't feel like you got to memorize stuff. Like, just let it. Dude, again, love. Even after I ate donkey dick, people were still coming up and going, come through, man.
Yeah. Can I stop you? Can I stop you real quick, brother?
I know I'm cussing way too much.
No, you're good. I got to say, what you're saying, brother, I think is amazing to show people that are trying to do comedy and are looking for a place to grow. I think that's great. I think we all need that because there's always going to be time where you feel like, dang, I could have done better. There's like, man, what did I miss? How come the crowd wasn't cheering? Because here's the thing, when you do stand-up, you feel the energy of the crowd, all of it. And I think it's really nice that a lot of doors, even though you felt like at some comedy open mic, you felt like, man, it didn't go how I wanted. You had people opening doors for you and inviting you to their open mic, which is beautiful, man. It shows like a community, like people are coming together. I think it's great. Sometimes we need each other to lift each other up. But real quick, I'm going to change the subject for a bit.
Sure.
Just because of time. So real quick, Eddie, I saw that you were able to invite my cousin, Dre Morrow. And for those who don't know, Dre Morrow is my cousin who was in America's Got Talent. one of the best rappers I could say from the Midwest. You had him on your show. I think it was 2 or 3 times. How many times, brother?
I mean, 3, probably 4 at this point.
Right. So
it's like you get like every time you come out with a sound bite, you gotta come on, man. Like, hey, I got a sample of a single. I need to come on. Like, all right.
But quick question: how was the experience when you had him on the radio? Like, I want to hear your perspective because you know, I told you about. I remember I sent you a message through Messenger. How was it?
Time,
yeah,
yes,
first time.
The first time I really connected, actually, and I don't know what it is about you Guatemalans, man. Like, I just really connect with y'all. But this guy was so cool, so natural, so laid back, so appreciative, so emotionally intelligent and mature. I'm just like, that's half the thing that blows me away about these young kids that are beat makers or hip hop artists. They have such gratitude and they think I'm cool. I'm like, how's that? It's really flattering. So I get up there and I'm like, well, I like to test people out. I don't like to ask easy questions. I go deep. I'm like, we're not just going to be talking about blunts for fucking 30 minutes. I'm going to start talking about politics. I'm going to start talking about, like, what's your influence? Did you encounter any whatever? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Dig into what made them who they are today.
Right.
And I just think the experience was really great, and listening to the way he flowed and his delivery. It's like, who are you working with? And I try to find out if they're just like buying beats and being uncreative and just rapping over stuff, or if they're actually putting craft into the work, and he is. And his wife is just like a huge partner in crime for that guy. And seeing that too was very cool for me. Like, well, let's talk about that. Who's this queen? You know what I mean? Like, who's this? You know, under every great king, there's a queen, right? You know, like a real supportive person. And I thought, man, when she's his management, basically, and he's talking about making moves and doing tours, and I'm trying to give him advice. And being a person in my late teens, early 20s who was trying to make it in original rock bands, I can impart onto the youth, because I'm old now. Hey, don't sign a record label. If you're pulling all this off yourself, which everyone's doing, and you're making quality work, don't, you know, it's suicide to sign to anything. Yeah. It's not even necessary, because the technology is so good that you can sound like a full 7-piece band and make it sound organic.
Yeah.
But the experience for me was very positive. We connected on a pretty large wavelength. And then I was like, I don't remember specifically, but I think I tested him, and I was like, I'm going to spin a record live, and you're just going to freestyle over it. And it could be something completely whack, like something that just like really has no like 4 on the floor.
Yeah.
And he was able to just like, I was like, what? It was excellent. It was like definitely Twister and Eminem, but not trying to be either. It was still him. And like the raspiness of his vocal throne, like his timbre, it just works so well. In his delivery, and he's so articulate, and he's so clean with it.
Oh yeah.
And I try to find, you know, the nuances and all the subtleties in everybody that I listen to, and definitely try to point out the best features of what I'm hearing. And I just thought, like, this guy's there's no end to what he can do.
Yeah. And can I tell you something? My cousin just talked literally like 5 minutes before I had you on the show. And I was like, hey, cuz, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have my boy Eddie. I'm gonna have him on the podcast. And we are going to mention a little bit about you. He's like, oh, man, great. I miss Eddie. And he was like just happy on the phone. He barely answered my phone, but for the first time ever, he picked up. But I was really happy. And here's the thing too, man. My cousin, I feel like what he has is that, like, you're right, his voice is very unique. And you're right, he's very fast rapper. He could be fast, he could be slow. And I followed him since he was young. So one thing I noticed as a kid, when I was a kid too, he was a kid. One of his best songs for me growing up, there was two songs. One of his first single, that was called "This Is My Dream." Freddy Cougar can't see, now he can't see. I'm here to introduce to you BULLET. Is Bullet Baby. That's his first single, right? Love it.
Wow, I feel like if you sang that to me at night, I'd fall asleep. That was
Thanks.
very,
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it. But look, so that was his first song that was his first single, actually got produced and all that, put the time and effort. Great hit. Second song that was very catchy that I honestly think that came like a couple years later was Marty McFly. He says the blast from the past. I can't get the lyrics right now because my brain it kind of froze for a bit. But it's Marty McFly, a blast to the past. One of the greatest hooks that I've heard from him. Now, songs a lot of songs. The newest one that came out, one of the newest ones, Midwest Mayhem. I think it's one of the best catchy. Yeah, there you go.
Dude, it's awesome. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's so catchy. The beat is on point. And I told Dre Morrow, I said, Dre Morrow, and I'm very tough on him. Sometimes he don't like when I'm tough, but that's my cuz. I love him to death. Gotta be tough sometimes. Hit him with the right hook. Yeah. So what I told him is that, look, cuz I'm gonna be honest with you. I told him I had him on my podcast a couple months ago. I said, look, cuz I know you got talent. I already know it, but I'm gonna push you to another level. And I don't think no one's gonna tell you, but I'm gonna tell you. He's like, what's that? I believe that you should put an album in Spanish in rap.
Oh my God.
You know how much
I don't even understand why I didn't even think of that, bro. Like, that's 100%. Yeah.
Right? No, but God. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing: rap itself, right? English. You're only reaching to basically America, people that only speak English. Let's just say per se. But if you rap in Spanish, whether it's the trap beat or it's the reggaeton, which right now reggaeton is the hottest thing right now.
Again, yeah.
Right. You know, Justin Bieber did that song maybe 2 years ago. Despacito. See, he knew he had to be in the reggaeton beat, and he liked that song. He's like, you know what? Let me do a remix. And he sang in Spanish. And the song went viral, and it went triple and quadruple, and it became a #1 hit on the Latin Billboard. So the thing is, I told Dre Morrow, look, brother, you can also speak Spanish. He's natural in Spanish. Spanish, I think, was his first language, if I'm not mistaken. You know, his both parents are fluent Spanish speakers. I told him, look at Cardi B. Cardi B is doing music in English, but she's also doing reggaeton in Spanish. And I said, look, brother, if you want to be how Pitbull said, Pitbull 305, you know what I'm saying?
I love that guy.
Me too, man. Worldwide, right?
He's just positive.
Exactly. Always. You gotta expand. Too, man. That's why I'm always tough in my class, because TikTok is the next thing you have to be. Everybody now, if you look at statistics, they use more TikTok, like watching videos, than YouTube, because it's short. It's only 5 to 15 seconds. It's easy to swipe, and that's it. But a YouTube video, you might watch a video and then there's a commercial that came out of nowhere. You're like, oh man, I gotta wait until I finish, or I can skip it. But if I don't pay the subscription, I gotta watch the whole thing, and it just throws you off.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. And here's a cool thing. Like, so right now, I think I told you this, Eddie, like I think yesterday when we were talking on Messenger, that so for me, right? I have a lot of talents. You were commenting that, man, I like your dancing skills, brother. I love it. You know, keep it up.
I just keep waiting for you to like finally make out with the girl you're dating. I'm just like, when's the? You know, it's like a web series. Like, how far will he get? But I mean, that's just me.
Right.
I'm just trying to live through you. Anyway, go on.
No, but it's thank you, man. I appreciate the fight. I bet maybe the next one I kiss a girl.
Maybe I don't know.
Right.
You're friends, I know.
But here's the thing. For me personally, I feel like I have so much talents, man, Eddie. When I was young, man, I was still rapping. I wasn't better than Draymar. I'm gonna be honest, Draymar. I give him the title right there. That's my. He's for me. He's a pro. I ain't there yet, but
for sure.
Right. I've been doing rap. One thing I have that I feel like some people don't have is I'm very catchy with hooks. Something that about it, like I made a song. I don't know if you have me on TikTok, but on TikTok, I made 3 songs that were really popular. And it's growing constantly every day. One of the 3 songs that came out, my hook was like fresh all the time. I said fresh all the time. Woo! Fresh all the time. And it's all about getting a haircut. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I do those 16s come popping in, yeah.
Right. And here's the thing: no one has rap about getting a haircut and looking fresh. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna be the first. Bloop, made the song, and then I was like, and I listen. And you know, you have to understand me, Eddie. I'm a little old school. You may not say it's old school, but it's kind of old school.
What I like about you,
Soldier Boy, you do.
I love that. I love the old early aughts kind of dance. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You remember that? Yeah. Watch me. Woo. Crank that Soldier Boy.
Dude, the come on, ride the train and ride it. Like those were fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
So look what I did. Your boy is a genius. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I came up with a song with a similar kind of beat and flow that would get people moving. I did this a couple podcasts. Watch this. My hook that came up with, you're gonna love. It's $1 million hook. It was like mix, shake, stir. We mix, shake, stir. Mix, shake, stir. We mix, shake, stir. First we bake the dough, then we mix, shake, and stir. I gather all my ingredients to make it just for her. I'll put in the oven, put in the oven just for her. You know what I'm saying?
Like put it in the oven.
You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, people don't know if I'm talking about. You like that? Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro.
Fun, yeah, man.
And people don't know if I'm talking about like I'm making drugs for her, like we're about to eat it together.
Hey,
or we're cooking food
for the OGs,
right?
For all the trap kids. Oh man, they talk about cooking lean. What?
Right. Or making that biscuit, or you know what I'm saying, mac and cheese. You know what I'm saying?
Powder cake, patty powder cake. Oh, making them biscuits. Look at Rise in the oven, son. Oh. Take your clothes off. And then it gets weird, right? Yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So TikTok, I'm putting all my energy in. I'm putting the podcast, like this episode we're in together. I'm gonna share it on TikTok. I do my dance, my rap. I do everything, and I have a new show. I don't know if you've seen it. It's called Catchphrases of the Moment. So the way I do it, you're gonna love this because you love comedy. You ready for this?
Yeah. Let's go.
So it goes like this.
Like I gotta say, like this. Does this predate Pass One and Take It Back, or this is like the extended 2.0 version? Because that's where
I call this the new series. Great. Separate.
Ready.
So when I come in, I'll be going like this. Cash phrases of the moment. Yeah. So today's topic of today for quotes is dedication with no medication. It's a quote to not take literally or personally. So that's like an example of how I start the series. So
yeah.
And here's the interesting part, because you love comedy. I love comedy. Watch this. I got this whole catchphrase. You're not going to believe this. I'm actually gonna pick at your brain at this part.
Oh, okay.
Where do you think I got my catchphrase from? I give you a hint. It's from a famous comedian from the 80s. Yeah, from the 80s. Give you a hint. He's a white guy.
So based off of what you just did.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are not many like. Oh, Bobcat Goldthwait. Okay.
Go a little. Go a little. He's a little younger than him.
Little younger. Okay. So, Jamie Kennedy. Let's see. I get probably one more strike here. Say your catchphrase again.
All right. Catchphrases of the moment. Yeah.
Aziz Ansari.
Are you ready?
Well, I'm about to guess.
You ready for this, Eddie? You close,
Yeah.
but you didn't get it.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey.
You said a white guy, and immediately I put Aziz in the white category.
Yeah.
So that means I'm tired, or that I think Indians are the closest to whites in the social category, which is foul. Well, that makes total sense, Jim Carrey.
Because look, Jim Carrey. I know you've seen Ace Ventura.
I love Ace Ventura.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? Oh, when he flaps his butt cheeks that's one of the funniest shits ever.
So Jim Carrey.
That whole movie is gold.
Oh yeah, it's a classic. Even the mask. Yeah. So here's I can't do it, but he goes like this, like that. It goes kind of like that, and he's holding his belt, but he does that like something like that. Then I took that little catchphrase that Jim Carrey does. It's like his signature move, kind of. Yeah. And then I took how DJs come in when they do a show. They go, "This is DJ Alex Felix from Chicago Tribute," like some BS. But I'm just saying the beginning. This is the DJ. So I did the same, taking that catchphrase that everyone knows, and that's where I came up with the catchphrases of the moment. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's
broken up
right there.
I like it. So when am I going to see a full ep of that?
So I actually do it. So I already put out two of my series. I'm
behind. I'm just catching up with your. I mean, you've got this visual currency out there, bro, and I'm just catching up to it.
Thank you, bro. Well, here's the thing. I put it. So I only have two so far. My goal is to put it once a month, because the thing is, these quotes that I just share with you, I have to make them up. I can't use people that already made those quotes, or it doesn't it's not unique, it's not genuine, and I don't want to get no copyright. So it takes me time. So that's why I thought it's better post once a month of this series that I do.
Smart. And then you're also rapping.
That's it, man. I'm making most here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. That's great.
Thank you, bro.
I mean, you got to grind that. You got to keep, and you're in a perfect position and area, to be doing that. The podcast thing is great. There's a couple of questions I know that I think it posed to me.
Yes.
I just think the podcast power is strong, and as opposed to regular radio. Now, what I do in radio, it's analog. I mean, it's all freeform radio, so they give me carte blanche to do whatever, and I can play whatever genre of music. You still got to adhere to NFAs, those guidelines. But artistically, it's so freeing and really liberating to just grab a stack of CDs or actual vinyl albums and not know what's on them before I do a little playback, and then I figure I just arrange on the fly. And that's true freeform. And that's a blessing. But to kind of, to put that out there is really cool. I forgot what my point was. But I think as far as freeform radio is concerned, the radio like that is very liberating, right? College radio, independent radio,
right?
Like independent artistry. The podcast obviously, as we've seen over and over and over again now for the last few years, have been reaching a global audience, and mixed with the advancement of where we are in technology, you can do anything. You can have your own production studio on your phone. If you know how to work it, you can create some really amazing pieces of art.
Yeah.
You know, and in the case of a lot of people that are podcasting, you know, you can get guests, you can get paid for doing this. If you get sponsorship, you know, if you gain popularity, it's only a matter of time, you know, before maybe a sponsor is willing to support your podcast. So there's just a lot of opportunity, and it's still growing. And you can't restrict it.
Yeah.
They're you know what I mean? Like if they can't get, you know, Jesse Eisenberg, I mean the dude from Facebook, you know, on the Russiagate thing, or colluding. Of course, he's got a lot of money, but that's all internet based.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of things can slip under the cracks. We can get away with a lot more due to the technological age. But the freedom that you get from podcasting is tenfold from that of radio, because there aren't really any restrictions, and there aren't any laws being passed to attempt to restrict it. Just people like that are over woke trying to pull stuff that they don't have a concept of.
Yeah.
So I think that's really dope.
Can I ask you one more thing about that, about your topic?
Yeah.
Do you feel, because I've heard different perspectives, they said that radio might be extinct because of podcasts.
Yeah, which is a drag. I mean, people are going to have to get creative and be better at doing better radio. And if they're not, I don't know, there's always going to be an audience that likes that Eddie and Jobo kind of fast entertainment. Those guys are cool, actually. But I mean, okay, so think of like your most popular dorky DJs that are doing kind of stream of the line, cookie cutter. There's always going to be an audience for that, where it's just easily digestible, palatable. People have kids. The parents can have fun, but the kids can have fun. But I think the percentage of people listening to that type of radio has certainly dwindled. And I think more people are getting turned on to reality, i.e. outlet to reality. And I think the title of your show sort of sums up what's happening in the podcast world. This is your outlet to actual reality, not just a soundbite on TikTok, not just a soundbite on some like programmed, you know, like program list for a DJ set on a very, you know, prefab pop radio station. You know, you got guys like Rogan, who's the podfather at this point. Actually, it was Adam Curry before. And you've got all these just like killers out there, you know, putting people on that are like scientists and, you know, MMA people and boom, boom, boom. And it's like not just on his podcast, but now other people are following suit. You know, a lot of amazing women who are comedians or not comedians are putting themselves out there talking about politics and like their perspectives from an educated standpoint that's appealing to men as well as women. That's probably what's going to really bridge us together, is this unadulterated, free form as well, uncensored form of education and communication and entertainment.
Right.
All in one. And so the podcast world is strong. And I hope to, I mean, me and a buddy have an idea of like a podcast for musicians and like local musicians that might be specific to Chicago underground hip hop, beat making artists. Now that I said that, someone's probably going to steal the idea, but whatever, you know what I mean? Like nobody knows who I know is the thing. And the cat that I'm going to be doing the podcast with he's from a rock world too. And he's an Asian brother. So, I mean, the diversity is already there. And the passion is mutual between us to do it. Now he's busy. I'm busy. Eventually we'll get to it. Right.
Yeah.
In the meanwhile, I'm doing whatever I can do that's within my power. But the ideas are out there. And I think the intent is very pure with a lot of people to shine a light on real artists doing original craft.
Yeah.
So that's lost in the radio world and the prefab world, right? So I think we're in a really great time. We're in kind of a renaissance, Dave. We're in a renaissance. Musically, artistically, we got over Trump over the last 4 years. We got through COVID. I mean, it was a nightmare for a lot of people. And we got through a real dark time. And now people just want to party. They're vaccinated. They want to make out. They want to make bad decisions again. They want to party. They want to throw money at restaurateurs again, at the service industry people, at concerts. Lollapalooza's coming to Chicago. Like, how y'all pulling that off?
Right.
But they're doing it. Every festival that's been gone, I thought it would not come until next summer. So the time is now to really take it. Like, everyone's excited about everything again.
Yeah.
And what I'm seeing is artists have been woodshedding, and artists, whether you're like yourself doing podcasts or comedians or musicians, have been taking this technological format and using it to their advantage. And so, I mean, the days of going in like, oh, we got an office meeting at 9 a.m. those days are gone, son. No one's coming into the office and wasting your gas or commuter time to talk about what? Well, these stats from last week are kind of counterintuitive to the movement that we're trying to make. No one gives a shit. You can get high, have your camera off, talk, and get the job done. Like it's actually more freeing to be working from home. Yeah. You can work from home and time manage yourself and then do a podcast. Boom! There you go.
Yeah.
You can do like a Zoom comedy podcast. You can play live music in between doing case management notes. That's incredibly liberating. And I think that's given the world, because this is a pandemic and it's global. I think that's given the world a more evolved perspective of where we really need to go.
Yeah.
As human beings, and just like for peace of mind. And, so now you can be artistically free and still make the bread and butter to keep it moving.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you something too, because you're one of my first guests on my show. Like I think you're episode 3 or 4, but one of my first people I've ever had. Now here, this is interesting. I know you saw that I had Dr. Maribel Lopez on my podcast. Right.
Yes.
Did you get a chance to watch it? That's what I was going to ask you.
Dude, no, not in its entirety. I'm terrible. I'm telling you.
That's a sad
you put out
story.
So much content, and there's so many people that I'm like, and then I get caught in my little world. But trust me, now that you mention it, just out of sheer embarrassment, I'm going to watch it after we get done recording this.
Because here's the thing, I'm going to tell you something, and this is for all my fans out there, Eddie. So what I realized with going back to what you said about Joe Rogan, he is, well, actually before him, who was like the Godfather for a podcast. What was it, Larry?
Adam Curry. You remember Hairbanger's Ball on MTV?
Yeah.
That guy. He actually, once he was done with that, he had probably a lot of money. He started his own podcast.
Wow. So look at it.
First to really start. And then Tom Green, he was the first to kind of have it all, like figure out all the wiring in his own home to do a podcast with as well.
Wow.
So it's like those two guys were literally the start of this podcast, it's internet revolution.
Yeah.
That we see now.
No, I agree with you. And look at this. So what I noticed, because I have to, in order for me to be a great podcaster and better, I have to see how other people do their podcast, right? And what I could do different, or what do I have that makes it stand out, right? So look at this. Joe Rogan, like you said, one of the best podcasters out there. But the difference between him and me that makes me stand out, Joe Rogan has all these celebrities coming, Kanye West, Alex Jones, all these big time celebrities.
Yeah.
But he has the money and the power and the network to get them on his podcast. Whereas for me, being your average jippity Joe with the flow,
right.
I ain't got that connection. But you know what's the difference? All the guest stars I've had on my podcast, it took me time and energy out of my schedule to get them on the podcast. So like next week's episode, actually coming up in my episodes, they're famous on TikTok.
Oh.
And this is their first time ever being on the podcast. And it's a great story. And the thing is, I'm happy to be the first one to get them on the podcast. You see what I'm saying? I'm building a legacy. If you think,
100%.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, brother?
Well, I was just like, as soon as you said, oh, I got TikTok people, I'm like, if you get internet superstars on, your currency is going to go up in the podcast game, because that's what's hot. That's what kids are into. You're going to be relevant.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be like, oh, I'm very specific to this era. No. And then you can also mix it up with old farts like myself, you know, to talk shop and to talk like the history of, you know, talk things back in the day when things were more organic, you know, and you can do whatever you want. And I think it's smart to be doing the TikTok thing, because I think that's been gaining even more popularity. Whether it's like another tool for the Chinese to spy on us, I have no idea. But I would say, hey, keep on rocking that. And I mean, I see a lot of TikTok, and it's kind of, you know, depending on what you run into, kind of pornographic, you know, like with kids. And that's the weird side of it. But everything's going to have a dark side. But what I see is a lot of creativity. And you can get your sound bites out there and make it really theatrical and just fun to watch while you're pushing your product out there.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, brother.
So yeah, I think you're doing great stuff. Seriously.
Thank you.
Great work. And consistency is key, whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue with music with the band Meds. We got a third guy. He plays keys. Otherwise, it's been just been an acoustic duo. Yeah. So we're still finding time, and now we're rehearsing once a week to try and gear up for some shows this summer. I've got opportunities to do open mics, and now I'm gearing up for a 20-minute set at Livewire Lounge Saturday, July 17th, opening up for a rock show. That's going to be huge. And I put it out there on Instagram and on Facebook stories, right? And like over 180 people chimed in, looked at it, gave a thumbs up, gave a heart, gave some triple hearts. It's wild to think that people are actually that interested in you. They had they saw my face. They thought, well, what's Ed doing up here? And for some reason, people that never follow my stuff or haven't for a long time suddenly took the chance, because you can see everybody who looked at it or made a comment. And it's like this person hasn't really looked at my stuff. Like every time I'll do a wizard show. You know what I mean? I'll do a radio show, and I might take a picture of an album that just completely got me off. You know what I mean? Like, this is fire. What is this? And people are checking it out like, oh, Ed posted something today. And now, with my face being up there for the first time in a while, which is fatter than what it's been, people that I haven't seen for a minute are like, I haven't even talked to that person in like a couple of years. And suddenly they're interested in looking at seeing what I have to say. I'm not trying to like blow myself or pump my ego, but to me that feels like I have fans. And because of the quantity and the reactions to them, it's mind-blowing. I mean, look, if I'm getting that kind of reaction on the internet, that interest, at least that interest, what's it going to be like when I'm consistent? You know, when I start building and building like you're building, the sky's the limit. Clearly, people are interested enough to think that I'm interesting enough to fuck with.
Yeah, and here's another.
But that also puts pressure on me. Like, well, now I got to really be quality control.
Yeah,
I don't take any of that for granted, dude.
Right.
But I'm also at the place in my life where it's going to be easier just doing things myself rather than collaborating with someone else and just relying on that exclusively. I'll collaborate with other people towards other projects, but as far as like what I want to do, I'm the only one in the way of myself at this point.
Yeah.
I already know where my talents lie. I know where they could go, and I'm going to keep pursuing that and follow my curiosity.
Right. And I was going to say, brother, I think another a little suggestion to you, my brother, is maybe doing some stand-ups live on Instagram. So that way you get reactions.
Just because I really respect the ethos of comedy, the ethic of it, which is like, yo, you got to do it live in front of a live audience, and this is the way, you know, like that kind of nerdist, you know, just like my radio station wizard. It's like, do not play any MP3s on the station. It's going to be vinyl, CDs, or cassette.
Yeah,
we got 45-inch records. Like, stick to the analog perspective.
But here's
it's like audio files. You know what I'm saying? Like, got very opinionated, talented nerd musician friends. So I get that. I'm a little bit like that myself, but I'm still open to other avenues too.
Yeah, what I'm saying, but I'm not saying to stop the traditional way going up to a mic.
No, I'm just,
you know what I'm saying?
Giving you my 2 cents. Since you're interviewing me.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You know, brother got to share. What I'm trying to say is that I think it would be nice that, okay, let's say you did a show, right? You did a show. Yes. You got home. You just feel happy. You thought of a quick 15-second comedy or like a little stand-up that you just came up with. It's just something that popped up today. You made it 15 seconds. And you post it. You see what I'm saying? You post it, and you're going to get a lot of feedback. And that feedback that you get, you can either take it and use it when you go to your next open mic and be like, all right, this is what people said, the pros and cons. People said, you see what I'm saying? And you're ready.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You see what I'm saying? You're crafting.
You might actually make me want to start doing TikTok, dude.
Hey.
You know what I hate on TikTok? People are like, oh, and they do voiceovers to some out. I'm just like, what? Are you not creative enough to just say it yourself without lip syncing?
Right.
Like, I could do better than that. And now that you mentioned it, I could do better than that. Because I would like to think that whatever I put out there, I'm not going to do a lot of tricks. So that's the thing. Like, how much am I going to doctor it up? But I think it's smart to do that. And I never thought about it until just now when you said it.
Yeah. And here, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something, brother. I come from the heart. I could be tough sometimes, but I love you, brother. These podcasts, and I start putting on TikTok. You're not going to believe this. week, actually, this episode that just actually 2 weeks ago, last week, my bad, last week, when I posted my podcast episode, I forgot which episode it was. Kevin Hart sold my podcast.
The Heart and Soul of your podcast.
Yeah, Kevin Hart.
He did. Wait, say that again.
Okay, Kevin Hart, one of the best comedians right now.
Yeah.
On my podcast.
For real.
For real. I have a picture of it. I'm gonna share it to you. But not only that, the week before that, I had Lee Daniels, the director for Precious Empire, and the guy who played Hakeem from Empire, my podcast. And the way that's a good thing when you have TikTok or Instagram and you post it, right? Because I always tag you with TikTok. It lets you see all the people that saw it. And I had them to actually see it. And I posted it that same day. When I posted and I saw that they looked at it, I screenshot it and then I posted again and said, look at this. My favorite director of all had my podcast. And if I've never did, I had a feeling, look at this. I had a feeling I'm going to post it today. It's like, whoever sees it, I hope, somebody recognize it. Watch this. Lee Daniels saw my podcast. I was like, what? I posted on Instagram, posted on Facebook, got so many positive feedback from different people, even directors I've never met. And they were just saying, great job, man. Keep it up. I'm proud of you. Like, that's great. For people that are big, that have over millions of subscribers, dude, that's what I'm saying, Eddie. If you do your stand-up, right, and you just, and like I said, to be your final product, it could be like a
I'm
demo.
I'm also hoping to stream it.
There you go. Look at that.
Or at least record it and upload it onto something. There
you go. And you won't believe the things that, like you said, doors are going to open just like you were telling me that story. People just start inviting you. More people are going to watch your videos. And check this out. I'm going to tell you something. Not a lot of people know this, but I'm going to share it with you. I did a rap, right? I did a rap in English and Spanish. This reggaeton artist named Farruko, one of the best reggaeton artists right now.
I love that name.
Farruko. Right, yeah.
This is for la raza.
Yeah.
Farruko.
Right. He said in the TikTok, he did a challenge. He's like, I'm going to do a course and I'm going to keep the beat going after I do the course. And I want you to rap that beat, rap with the beat. I said, okay, cool. This is my first time ever doing this. I said, I'm going to give it a chance. I had a feeling. I'm sorry, you know what style, let me do it. I did the first part in English and the last part in Spanish. Watch this. Next day, 6 a.m, that reggaeton artist liked my video. I got a notification. My favorite reggaeton artist of all time liked my video. My video didn't go viral, but to have my favorite artist of all time to watch it, it's a big deal.
That's cool, man. Like, I mean, Kevin Hart is the nicest at that level of fame that you're ever going to get. And he keeps trying to open doors for more up-and-coming artists, period, that I've ever seen, because he's made the revenue to do it. Like, I don't know. I mean, he's got this dwarfing alien energy. And the fact that all these like A-list people are checking you out, pretty humbling, but seems like they have a pretty good head on their shoulders to give everybody the time of day. Yeah. I feel like a lot of artists, and what that is maybe telling me is the days of this sort of like, oh, I made it, I'm kind of this elite, snobby artist. It's like, well, you got to work your way to get to my level. Shit is done. I feel like now people are trying to be more inclusive. And this just sounds like an example of what is possibly happening. because of the internet, stars can reach out to us bottom feeders, to us, low level blue collar folk, and probably because they remember who they were too before they got famous. I guess I'm just coming up with this on my own, but it's sort of like this interview has been kind of a revelation to me. I mean, you're really changing my mind and making me think about all this in real time right now. Like, this is the power of the internet. Like, this is where we're really connecting on a human level again. And I think the fact that you're benefiting from all of these artists that put in that grind to get where they are, they're giving back. They're giving back now.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's incredible to hear. And I mean, don't get too thirsty, I guess, is what I would probably say to myself and you or anybody else. Would just be like, hey, thank you for checking me out. I hope you've been enjoying it. Simple. And if they're gonna play with you once, they'll mess with you again.
Yeah.
You know what I noticed? And this is just a rule of life. Kids out there in internet land, whatever you do that you want to be good at or you want to be a success at, here's the number one rule. Just don't stop. Don't stop. Show up, don't stop.
Yeah.
Show up, don't stop. And let me tell you, showing up, not stopping has been hard. It's hard to stay consistent. We've been challenged in a lot of different ways and pulled in a lot of different directions, but also inspired in the same amount of direction. And Dave, you just can't stop. Never stop not stopping.
Thank you, bro. I needed that. Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, last thing to wrap it up, man, I want to ask you a quick question, brother. What advice can you give to people that want to try something new?
Artistically.
Yeah, that's out of their comfort zone.
Hey, try fentanyl this year. No. Any advice to try something new? I mean, just try to make it as quality. Just don't half-ass it. Okay? If you're gonna put work in, put the work in. The quality of your product is going to double the attraction that you desire. You can quote me on that. I made that up. Yeah. Put the quality of work in to equal the attraction of what you want to receive from that towards that product and what you're doing. Have fun, be creative, don't stop. And just keep putting content out there. It's about content. And I know a lot of people are into that. Like, I'm just trying to create content. Well, create good content. Yeah. Don't just, whack off on a piece of paper and there it is. It's art. No, not really, because like a lot of people can do that. And there's a lot of people that are creative. A lot of these kids, I guess, Gen Z, now we're in Gen Z.
Yeah.
They came out of the womb with a laptop. So this is already second nature. This is already in what we're learning. It's already been intuitive to them before year one of their life. Think about that.
Yeah.
And if this Elon Musk Neuralink becomes a reality where you can plug in and upgrade human to machine, like that's a real thing. Like that is, you don't want to talk about cyberpunk. Like we're in that era. We're here. We've arrived. The aliens are just hovering around waiting for a safe time to land. Otherwise they're just like, is it safe to go down? No, these niggas are on some bullshit again. We're just gonna hover around, a few more revelations, go back to Uranus. And but I think for like anybody starting out, you just have to put the work in like you do anything else, and be creative and have fun and put content out there consistently.
Yeah.
If you want to be a success.
I love it.
Make it more than a hobby. Or let it be organic. Don't put so much pressure on yourself, but keep putting it out there.
I love it.
Just be consistent. And it's going to suck for a long time. Something about like I can get up and rock a mic and rock a guitar with no problem and impress most people in the room. I feel comfortable enough to say that. That's not arrogance. That's just over 30 years of performing. So I'm humble with this comedy thing. And I'm of the mind that it's going to suck for a long period of time before it gets better and you finally catch a groove. I'm challenging myself once again because I can't sit on my laurels. I don't have any laurels to sit on because I'm broke. And I ain't trying to be broke at 60. So if you got a gift, if you got an idea, double your currency. Get a job, yeah, but also that will fund your creative endeavors. And the internet makes your creative endeavors more realistic to accomplish because you're not beholden to a timeline. You can do it whenever you're done doing what you got to do to survive. So just keep going, period. Be creative, don't stop, keep it consistent, and show up.
I like that, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you. So
and don't sit on your gifts.
That's true. That's true, brother. We'll wrap it up.
That's a good place to wrap up.
Right. All right, guys. This is the Outlet to Reality. The Hold is Paul Cass in Vegas and Chicago. What up? Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Don't forget to stay tuned. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Cha-ching. Y'all know where to find me on Instagram and on Facebook, the Outlet to Reality. And my TikTok is at Yaakov28. And my Snapchat is Take One Pass It. And my brother Eddie, where can my fans find you?
You can find me on Shafer Eddie on Instagram. That's Shafereddie. My name backwards. Shafer Eddie at Instagram. And Eddie L. Shafer, that's middle initial L, like in Libra, which I'm not. I'm a Leo. Leo, son. L. Shafer on Facebook.
Perfect. And what time are you on the radio at the Wizard?
Wednesdays, Central Time, 7 to 10 p.m.
Love it. At 88.3 FM, y'all. Don't forget.
Right. The Wizard. I'm a wizard.
Right. That's it. So thank you, guys. Peace.